I've been using Craigslist ever since I was 15. Now I'm a 24-year-old buff, 6'2" college boy with a lovely 100-pound girlfriend. I decided to go on Craigslist to find some furniture for my new apartment, and while I was searching, I found something interesting. A large, bright purple armchair with colorful stars on it. There were two reasons why it caught my eye. One, it was only $50. Two, my girlfriend is crazy about designs like that. I thought to myself, why not buy it for her? It was pretty cheap, and she needed furniture for her apartment too. The description had an email, so I contacted it saying I was interested in buying the couch. I received a reply simply asking for my name. I gave them my real name, Tracy. The person replied with a rather friendly reply, reassuring me I didn't have to worry about carrying the chair to my car. They then gave me an address and time to pick it up. Surprisingly, they recommended I come today. I honestly thought I lucked out. I immediately got in my pickup truck and drove to the location. To my surprise, it was a pretty run-down house in a normal-looking neighborhood. Even stranger, the front door was open. It was odd at first, but then I thought the door must have been open to get the chair outside. I walked up to the door and was about to ring the doorbell when I heard a man's voice call from inside. "Just come in, Tracy. We're ready for you." I probably should have found that comment unsettling, but I'm a tough guy, so I didn't. I walked inside, down the hall, and was surprised by how little furniture was in the home. I entered what seemed like a family room and heard something quite unwelcoming. "What the fuck?" I turned towards the voice and saw two men standing 10 feet away from me. They both looked rather surprised and disappointed. They stared at me with wide eyes in a very weird way. Then one of them asked, "Where's Tracy?" I was flabbergasted. Who did these guys think I was? Confused, I answered, I'm Tracy." The two guys now opened their mouths as if they were flabbergasted themselves. Then I heard footsteps to my right. I turned and saw another guy had entered the hallway leading back to the front door. He looked just as surprised as the other guys. Then one of the other two guys said, "Are you really Tracy?" I looked back at them and nodded, saying, "Yeah?" Then the guy in the hallway blurted out, "But that's a woman's name!" I froze when I heard that. I turned towards the hallway guy. However, this time I noticed something that made my skin crawl. In his hand was a rolled up rope. When I looked back at them, all three men now looked really pissed. "Get out!" one snarled, pointing towards the door. Seeing these guys look mad and disappointed, I started to realize what all this meant, and I got angry too. I really should have just left, but thinking about my girlfriend and how someone like her could have fallen into this trap, I furiously told these guys I would report them on Craigslist immediately. I then stormed for the door when the guy in the hall stepped in front of me. He then unraveled the rope and gave it a firm pull. "Don't let him get away," I heard from behind me. I knew this was bad. I may have been a big guy, but I was outnumbered 3-1. I heard stomps behind me, and before I could react, I was hit from behind. I shook off the blow and tried to get past the rope guy. Luckily, I managed to push him aside. Even luckier, the door was still open. I rushed out and jumped in my truck. I charged the engine and punted the gas pedal. However, just when I thought I was home free, the most terrifying part of all occurred. I heard gunshots from behind my car, and my back window shattered. I pressed the gas pedal harder and turned the corner, nearly riding off the road. To my complete surprise, when I turned, I was practically inches away from sliding right into, of all things, a police car. I put on the brakes in an instant, and the cop rolled down his window. I frantically explained to the cop what happened, and the trooper explained someone had called 911 when I arrived at the house, thinking something suspicious was going on. I warned the cop the guys at the house had a gun and shot at my car. Suddenly, to my horror, I heard gunshots again. This time my side view mirror shattered. Without thinking, I hit the gas full force again and got the hell out of there. To make a long end of story short, the cop called for backup and arrested the three thugs. It turns out that Craigslist post was indeed a trap intended for women. I guess when I told them my name, they assumed I was a girl. This may have been an unsettling experience, but in all honesty, I'm glad it was me who fell into this mess and not somebody else. If it hadn't been me, not only could somebody have gotten hurt, but those brutes might have gotten away with their evil plot. Working the evening shift at a local fast food restaurant was something I both loved and hated. I hated it because, well, it was the evening 5 to 10 shift. I loved it because the people working there were so friendly, especially my manager, Jordan. I was working the counter by myself because there were no customers. However, the calm was suddenly interrupted by the door opening with a loud bang. Whoever opened it must have hit it as hard as they could. I gasped and took 2 steps back when I saw a large, angry-looking man fast walking up to the counter. My heart pounded with fear when he reached the counter and slammed the surface. He started screaming, demanding a refund for his food, slapping the counter all the while. I was honestly so terrified by his behavior, I backed away and didn't speak. I trembled in fear as the frightening man stared at me, breathing heavily. Then he started behaving in a way that was far, far more horrifying. His angry, growling scowl slowly morphed into a perverted, smug smile. I backed away until my back hit the soda dispenser. The man gave a disgusting chuckle and tilted his head. In a horrendous voice, he called me a sexy bitch. What happened next made me scream with pure terror. The man started climbing over the counter, still smirking that perverted smile. I screamed again, and I heard the door to the kitchen slam open. It was Jordan and one of my co-workers. Instantly, the customer pushed himself off the counter and ran for the door. Jordan came to my side while my co-worker ran after him. I tearfully told Jordan what happened, and he told me he would confront that guy if he ever came back. Being the nice guy he was, he gave me the rest of the night off. He even walked me to my car, which was a real burden off my shoulders. I felt the incident was over, and everything would be back to normal tomorrow night. However, I was horribly wrong. The next morning, I drove past the restaurant to my college, only to find 3 police cars parked at the entrance with lights flashing and crime scene tape at the door. I drove up and almost ran right past the tape, but was stopped by a cop. Then, another co-worker from the night shift approached me. He told me that a half hour after I left, that freak guy came back with a gun and shot Jordan. I was absolutely distraught, but my coworker reassured me Jordan was going to be okay. He was only shot in the arm. However, he then told me after Jordan was shot, the thug's gun jammed and a fight broke out. During the fight, one of the female cooks actually grabbed a cleaver and slashed at the gunman multiple times. I was told he was in the hospital and would be charged with various crimes once he healed. Needless to say, I had to take a few days off from work. Then again, so did Jordan. Eventually, everything was back to normal. Except for one thing, though. There was a bullet hole gouged in the counter that the soda dispenser stood on. Every time I glance at that bullet hole, I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't been allowed to leave work early that night. This happened one evening on my college campus after my late Friday class. I had gone to the restroom and exited the stall to wash my hands. There was a girl standing in front of the mirror. I couldn't help but glance at her. She was wearing a very baggy sweater that was obviously too big for her. As I washed my hands, I couldn't help but take a few peeks at the odd girl standing motionless next to me. She seemed to be staring at her own reflection with a dead, vacant glare. Her sweater was not only way too large on her, but it was far too warm to be wearing one at all. Then I heard her whisper something. "I'm so fat." If only I had kept my mouth shut. Instead, I said to her, "It would probably help if you tucked in your shirt." In response to my comment, the girl proceeded to grab the bottom of my shirt and roughly pull it down. I tried to push her away, but she wouldn't let go. She even grabbed my pants a few times. Finally, I tore her grip away. Instead of running away, though, I looked at her for a few seconds. She glared at me with such a horrible, enraged expression I regretted sticking around. I turned and walked away. Before I left for the parking lot, I ran into some of my classmates at the cafeteria and told them what happened. Being the easygoing people we were, we ended up getting a few laughs out of it. If only I hadn't. As I watched through the parking lots in the darkness of the night, as I always did, I kept one hand on my pepper spray, which was hanging off a chain on my purse. Something my parents told me to do whenever I walked alone at night. I was halfway to my car when I suddenly heard fast-paced footsteps behind me. I turned around, pepper spray at the ready. It was too late, though. Before I could react, someone with long, sharp fingernails grabbed at my throat. I fought against their arms without getting a good look at the attacker. Then I kicked them away. I was about to shoot them with the pepper spray when I realized it was the girl from the restroom. I don't know why, but I just stood there again as she heaved and huffed in apparent anger. Once again, I let my mouth open wide with words. "What is wrong with you?" I said incredulously. The crazy girl then screamed a high-pitched screech and lunged at me again. This time, though, I was ready. I used my pepper spray. The girl screamed even louder, almost like a Tasmanian devil. She clutched her eyes and shouted curses at me. Among them, I heard the words, "I'll kill you, bitch." My brain finally working properly, I hightailed it out of there without looking back. Once I reached the safety of my car and drove away, I began to wonder if using my pepper spray was necessary. I began to wonder if that girl was in a bad state of mind. What if she heard me and my classmates laughing about my encounter with her? I couldn't help but feel a little guilty. I was worried about encountering that girl again. However, the next week my classmates told me something shocking. They said the girl in the baggy sweater attacked another person later that night. She apparently tried to gouge out the eyes of someone sleeping in the lounge. I don't know what became of her, but I really, really hope I never encounter her again.